You don't measure it for 0 to 15. Reason being that actually, if you measure the prevalence of
the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has promised to pay all enumerators and service providers by the end of this month, August 2024.
Make it clear that the various categories of people that we have stated are the ones who are entitled to payments. But of course, we also had people who were complaining, like LOC3s.
Parliament has advised the cabinet to rethink salary enhancements for security forces, saying the current arrangement is unfair to junior officers.
If the objective of this salary enhancement was to improve on the morale of the force, it has done a complete opposite.
Welcome aboard. Today is the 8th day of August 2024. My name is Idrissa Mwonge. Now let's start in court. And the trial of 3 members of parliament accused of corruption resumed today in the High Court Anti-Corruption Division. The 3 members of parliament that are accused are Yusuf Motembule of Bunyoro East, Paula Kamba of Bosiki, and Asise Namuju, who is the Lwengo District Woman Member of Parliament. The prosecution is still leading its key witness and complainant, Mariam Wangadia, also happens to be the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Now, Wangadia testified that she recorded a conversation between herself and the alleged corrupt legislators, while they solicited a 20% kickback from the proposed enhanced budget of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Take a look.
The people in that footage
yes,
which she proceeded to do, my lord. I viewed the footage and I was able to see myself in that footage. I was also able to identify A1, A2, and A3. At Hotel Africana, going through the lobby to a restaurant. I was able to see that we arrived at the restaurant at different times and equally left at different times.
Okay. Come tomorrow and we'll speak. Yes, it is always important that, because you are officers of the court. You see, unlike Mwaganya and yourselves, you have opportunity to see and hear the recording. Unlike me, I have not seen the recording, I've or heard it, I have not seen the audio until it is processed and tendered. You see, so I think I will grant an adjournment for those 2 reasons. Unless Mr. Mwaganya wants to say something.
No, my lord, I just wanted to confirm that.
Yes, then that is fine. So please, and should you wish to use this courtroom for your interviews, we shall not charge. See, you can use this courtroom, interact with your clients. If you have laptops, you can put in and play either the audio or the video, so that you only relate to her on important matters instead of keeping her the whole day. Council Rukutana, we had 2 days.
We seek your indulgence. Is it too much for us to adjourn to Monday?
I'll tell you what. I have, is it 4 judgments in August? Yes, I have 4 judgments in August and I must deliver them. Because I never done a judgment. No. So when I give you, the other thing is, I told you I should finish this case by 31st of October. Hassan Kamba.
My Lord.
I know you do election petition. And Kandebe. Yeah.
My Lord.
I have set my target that I must complete this case.
My Lord.
These are members of parliament. They need their fate to be determined as quickly as possible, so that they don't move as criminal suspects throughout.
Yes.
See, either the case goes against them and they go where convicts go, or the case against them is dismissed and they go where honorable members go.
Yes, my Lord.
See, and it should be, you know, when you delay with this matter, it attracts a lot of other things. That was my concern.
Yes, my Lord. For A1.
Moving on. Now, every year on 12th August, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Youth Day, which is also designated by the United Nations. And it's commemorated every year on 12th August. This time to be 12th August 2024. Now, the State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development in charge of Children and Youth Affairs, Honorable Bala Mulgahari, has promised to remind President Museveni of his pledge to stand surety of all incarcerated youth and political prisoners to help them attain bail and be released from prison. He also pledged to address most of the children's issues, including the disabled across the country, regardless of insufficient funds. He made the announcement today while presenting his statement in Parliament regarding the Youth Day that will take place next week on Monday in Soroti District. Take a watch.
From young people, I want to inform you that we shall issue a statement on Monday in Soroti. I had a discussion with the president just yesterday. I reminded him of his kindness. He had allowed to stand surety. He had allowed to stand surety for those young people. Most of those young people were given bail, but they were denied bail due to the conditions that were put in place. Just hold on. So the president has once again pledged that he's going to act on that. Let it be on record of Parliament. Those young people will get freedom soon. Honorable Linda Irene requested that we needed to equip the skilled youth. That is part of our agenda. We have discussed this in Cabinet, and soon a paper will come to the floor of Parliament regarding you have skilled but you have not equipped. What happens? You go back to the village or you go back to your residence. So we shall equip and skill. Then Honorable Kabahande from Chegegwa, Kabahenda from Chegegwa, Flavia, he raised the issue of equity, that the disabled are not considered as in reference to training. Few are attaining training. I want to inform you, Honorable Kabahenda, that we have the Minister of the Disabled, and we are working closely to close the gaps. Whatever gaps are there, we shall close them. For these disabled children, rehabilitation centers, that is not the only affected area in our ministry. In the last budget, we requested more funds to feed even the juvenile. We have close to 1,800 young people, juveniles, who are currently in detention or who are currently in remand homes, but they eat very small portion of food. Only the budget of 640 million was passed by this house to feed those children and to maintain those homes. Some of these homes even don't have cars to deliver the children to court to get fair justice. So this is something, as a Minister of Children, we need to work on, and Parliament, we need to have this matter addressed as soon as
Moving on, following non-payment complaints raised by a section of census enumerators, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has promised to pay all enumerators and service providers by the end of this month. The delayed payments, UBOS has attributed to several shortcomings, including name mismatches, loss of census equipment, and delays in submitting names by local governments where the enumerators were deployed. Now, this was said by the statistics body spokesperson Didas Okoth while addressing members of the Fourth Estate at the Uganda Media Center.
Addressing journalists at the Uganda Media Center about the plight of the enumerators, Didas Okoth, the Senior Public Relations Officer at the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, addressed the reasons behind the delayed payments of thousands of personnel that assisted in the success of the recent exercise.
Payment of the census personnel. Now, these are people who were involved in data collection. The government spent 88.7 billion shillings. And for purposes of emphasis, all of these resources was paid using the eCash platform. You either get the money on your mobile phone, which is registered in your name, or using your bank account, which must also be reflecting your individual name.
Okoth also noted that a total of 88.7 billion has been dispersed to the census staff via the eCash platform, ensuring direct payments of the beneficiaries.
Reason number one was the mismatch in the names. Some of the enumerators submitted a telephone contact, but the name belonged to another person. When you subject it to eCash, the money will automatically bounce because it does not give the right owner of the money. Every enumerator was given a gadget. This was a tablet and a power bank, and of course all the accessories. But of course there were cases of losses that were registered, and of course we shall at an appropriate time have that report for those who reported at the police. And then also there was the delay to submit some names by the respective local governments where these enumerators and enumeration supervisors worked. And of course that could also affect the payment process.
According to Didas Okoth, out of the 115,846 enumerators, 114,327, representing 98.7%, have been fully paid. The remaining 1,519 are yet to receive payment, citing various issues, including loss of census equipment and accessories.
We had a total of 112,970 guides who participated in the census. And of course, these guys did a very great role. Most of them were LOC1 chairpersons who would take the enumerators around their jurisdiction to ensure that no household is left behind or not enumerated.
Out of the 112,970 field guides, Okoth reports that 109,730, representing 97.1%, have been paid, pending payment for the remaining 3,240. And for the enumeration supervisors, out of the 14,643 supervisors, 13,272 have been paid, with 1,371 awaiting corrections of their details. Sub-county supervisors, among 4,713 participants, 4,686, representing 99.4%, have been paid, leaving 120 unpaid. The Bureau spokesperson also mentioned that all service providers have been paid except those with incorrect account numbers, and that these have been requested to resubmit their correct account details.
We had the chief administrative officers, we have the town clerks, the city clerks, we had the resident district commissioners, we had the resident city commissioners, the district planners, the district IT officers, the district internal auditors. They totaled to 1,635. And of that total, 912 have been paid. 55.78% have already been paid. And only 663 are yet to be paid. And of course,
regarding equipment retrieval, WOBOS deployed 122,026 tablets for census enumeration with 121,197, representing 99% of the retrieved from the districts and cities. Additionally, 119,418 power banks, representing 90.2% recovered so far. He has assured the public that efforts are underway to ensure all pending payments are made before the end of this month, August 2024.
Make it clear that the various categories of people that we have stated are the ones who are entitled to payments. But of course, we also had people who were complaining, like LOC3s, LOC2s, the district information officers, that they are not among those to be paid. Yes, they are not, because there was a clear circular on those who were supposed to be paid, and this of course was given to every chief administrative officer.
The National Population and Housing Census conducted by WOBOS in May 2024 revealed a preliminary population of 45.9 million people. The census was 99% funded by the government of Uganda, with 328.74 billion Uganda shillings allocated for the exercise. John William Ogenda, Freddie Chris Chisawo for BTM News Today.
Now moving on, Parliament has advised the Cabinet to rethink salary enhancements for security forces, saying the current arrangement is unfair to junior officers whose welfare is continuously declining. Now the legislators were discontent that whereas Parliament has often increased the budget for the armed forces with the view of elevating the status of junior officers, the government has done the opposite. Take a look.
Parliament learned that in the UPDF, the government enhanced the salaries of senior officers from the rank of general to major by 77% and left out lower cadres. The members are concerned that the move has killed the morale of the lower cadres who continue to receive low pay in the forces.
If the objective of this salary enhancement was to improve on the morale of the force, it has done a complete opposite. It has created a huge pay remuneration discrepancy. And now those of the rank in the cloth are not easily seeing eye to eye with those below.
John Baptist Nambeshe was responding to a statement by the Minister of Public Service, Honorable Wilson Mululi Mukasa, on the salary enhancements for the Uganda Police Force, Uganda People's Defence Forces, Uganda Prison Services, Internal Security Organization, and External Security Organization. In the Uganda Police Force, it was noted that the percentage increment for senior officers in ranks similar to those of UPDF was lower than the percentage applied to UPDF. These discrepancies, MPs said, demoralized the officers and could ultimately pose security risks.
Called me in the morning and said, I heard you are interrogating the sharing of the monies that you allocated to us. Please get this information. One, the senior officers who are not meant to be beneficiary have instead taken the lion's share. And two, the next thing we are planning, and I will not reveal this particular person, the next thing we're planning is to go on strike, such that the people you have sent us in Luzira can come back and bring you to the same level where you have kept us.
Members were particularly disturbed to learn that constables, the lowest ranking cadres in the police force, who were to receive a minimum salary of 847,000 shillings, got a slight increment and still earned as low as 470,000 shillings monthly net pay.
Mr. Speaker, the money was found, but what is lacking is sharing. It is very unreasonable if we get some money and the top officers who are facilitated in terms of transport, again, out of greed, don't care about the juniors and they take the money for themselves, Mr. Speaker.
Betty Namboze, also Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs, read out a text sent to her by a police constable narrating his ordeal regarding the paltry pay amid its numerous demands.
What I want to request Mr. Speaker, sir, is that this Parliament asserts itself and say, what did we pass in this House, Mr. Speaker? We go back to what we passed here and we seek for its implementation. We cannot allow these people to risk the whole country and leave these people to go out with guns without pay. This used to happen during Obote's time, that a person would be given a gun and then told to go and look for his salary.
Padel County MP Honorable Isaac Otimugwe said, with such salaries, the fight against corruption will be in vain. Minister Mukasa retaliated that the enhancements were guided by a cabinet resolution of 2017 in a 5-year phased manner.
As I said, those agencies work in unison in to synchronize their work. Then our decision was partly informed by that, and we thought it would be quite in order to do.
The minister also noted that out of 794.24 billion shillings requested to implement the desired enhancement plan, only 358.33 billion shillings has been provided.
At that time, Uganda shillings 9.295864 billion over the 5-year period.
As a result, salary for all ranks in Uganda Police and Uganda prisons was enhanced to 40% as opposed to the desired 77%. The Deputy Speaker asked the Minister to table MPs' concerns before Cabinet to revise the big disparities between different ranks.
Been utilized. You know it very well, okay? The moment you give someone a salary, you cannot review it to their detriment. So you cannot record this budget from the senior officers to say, bring back this money, we give it to the junior officers.
Josephine Mutesi Kim.
From that, members of parliament have called on the government to improve access to electricity in rural areas across the country to boost value addition in the agricultural sector. Now, they made a call while addressing a report by the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the status of implementation of the Agricultural Cluster Development Project, ACDP, and a report on food and animal feed security interventions in the country. Take a look.
The project aimed at raising on-farm productivity and marketable volumes of selected agricultural commodities in 12 specified agricultural clusters comprising 57 districts. The reports were adopted by the House. Honorable George Boka, the Obongi County MP, said there is a need to extend electricity to rural communities at a time when the country is decentralizing production, processing, and value addition to the parish level.
Post-harvest handling and value addition, which is a function of energy. In the recommendation, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry considers connection of electricity to the processing plants. This is a function of the Ministry of Energy.
The Kasanda District Woman MP, Honorable Flavia Nabagabe, said there are no transformers in the district to enable the operation of food processing machines that beneficiaries received under the ACDP.
In Kasanda District, regarding this project, the very first one is groups got machinery, but we have no transformers. And so we have redundant groups, we have redundant machinery that is not being utilized because there are no transformers, there is no power to operate the machines. For example,
Honorable Julius Tosime, the Rampara East County representative, noted that 179 factories were set up under the project in the district, but only 86 of these have managed to access electricity for production.
I want to speak to one thing which I believe desired a multi-sector approach. How do we have 179 factories put up and 93 of those cannot access electricity? this is an appeal for us as a country to do what we call a multi-sector approach in everything we are doing. Let's have a way of integrating all the components.
While presenting the report, the committee chairperson, Honorable Linda Uma, also noted that transportation of agricultural products was hampered by impassable roads due to the absence of road courts.
Right, Honorable Speaker. This is where the problem is, and honorable members. Under this component, there's a part for removal of chokes along the farm market access roads. MAIF reported that rehabilitative work for road chokes on community access roads are categorized into 3 phases.
Honorable Solomon Chelangat, the Tor County MP, added that poor road infrastructure has affected the ability of farmers in Burko district to get their produce to markets, yet provisions were made to improve market access roads.
Farmers had started ferrying their produce to the market easily, and they are very comfortable. However, Right Honorable Speaker, because of the delays, this road had goes back to square one, and I believe across the country that could be the problem now. And the contractor has to go back and work from square one.
The State Minister for Agriculture, Animal Husbandry, Honorable Bright Ramirama, said contractors took on tenders to construct road chokes without the financial capacity to do so. The minister also appealed for the employment of more extension workers at local governments and urged district leaders to monitor their work.
Actually, tender we are giving at local government. Now, the problem we met in chokes is that the people took on tenders when they did not have capacity, majority of them.
Raphael Majezi, the Minister for Local Government, attributed challenges faced under the project at the district level to factors like late release of funds.
We are certainly beyond the districts. For example, delays in the release of funds. You cannot blame this on the districts.
The House also adopted a motion by Honorable Elijah Mushemeza, the Shema County South MP, urging the Auditor General to carry out a forensic audit on the agriculture cluster development project and give a report to Parliament. The 6-year ACDP project by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries was financed by a $150 million loan from the World Bank through the International Development Assistance. Josephine Mutesi-Kim.
In 1974, the Uganda Association of Women Lawyers, FIDA Uganda, has called on policymakers to strengthen policies and laws to address the escalating cases of digital violence against women and girls. According to Elizabeth Kemigisha, the communications manager at FIDA, the laws are necessary to recognize the threat of online violence, which has demoralized women's rights, especially those in power, and impacted their economic transformation. She made the remarks during a symposium organized to raise awareness among young women and girls in Kampala earlier today. Take a look.
Uganda is making significant strides in digital transformation with impressive internet penetration, widespread mobile phone ownership, and a thriving e-commerce market. This progress is harnessing digital technologies to improve education, healthcare, agriculture, finance, and many more. However, as people's lives become increasingly digitalized, gender-based violence has shifted from physical to digital realms. Speaking during their National Youth Symposium, showcasing the disproportionate impact of online gender-based violence on young women and girls, Elizabeth Kemigisha, Communications Manager of FIDA, has called on policymakers to strengthen policies and laws recognizing the threat of online violence, which has demoralized women's rights, especially those in power, and impacted their economic transformation.
We shall launch at the end of this symposium a campaign on technology-facilitated violence with the major intention of creating awareness. just demystifying the problems, the impact, the long-term on and offline impact of this technology-assisted violence. Of course, today we take recognition that women and girls have a disproportionate way in which this technology-assisted violence affects them. And as an institution that is feminist, we are looking at it from that lens. How do we ensure that people that are more possible to become victims are protected?
Kemigisha highlights the symposium's positive impact on raising awareness among young women and girls.
To recognize that the government of Uganda has recognized this as a problem, and there's been policy reform. The Anti-Pornography Act, even with all its downfalls, was intending to respond to this problem. The Computer Misuse Act also continues to be a major law in responding to technology-assisted violence. We do believe that the Sexual Offences Bill also continues to be another opportunity through which we can be able to address online-based violence or technology-assisted violence. So we do hope that right now those that are discussing, that are taking lead in the discussions on the Sexual Offences Bill actually pay attention to the online nature of sexual offences that we are experiencing today.
Tricia Gloria Chitenda, an advocate and victim of online violence, appealed to young women and girls to limit the content they share online, as this creates space for perpetrators.
That even on an individual basis, we must hold ourselves accountable to the things we share online, to the things we communicate online. Are we perpetuating sexual harassment? Are we, soliciting nudes in these platforms? It is very important for us to check our ethics and our norms in our use of technology so that we are not violating people and also we are not opening ourselves up for violence.
So a lot of women have been cyberbullied, harassed. Prominent people, for example, musicians. I mean, you're going to perform and someone comes at you, they expect you to wear a gomasi because you're going to perform, in a school. They want you to wear the way they want you to wear, not the way you want to wear. So really, a lot of women have faced this, and I think the best way we can overcome this is creating conversations.
Agri David Chivenge, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, highlights laws in place that combat the vice.
Promoted strategic partnerships for GBV prevention and response, as well as training and sensitization of duty bearers on their role in prevention and response to GBV. We have set up the Sauti GBV Helpline 116. What initially started as mainly a child helpline has now been expanded to take calls, distress calls and reports of GBV. This is a toll-free service that operates 24 hours a day.
Globally, over 736 million women have experienced physical and or sexual intimate partner violence, non-partner violence, sexual violence, or both influenced by technology. Naguja Serena, BTM News Today.
Great job there by FIDE, but I'm wondering who's fighting for the boys and the men's rights. I'm just wondering. Moving on, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today met with the family of the late Basilio Olara Okello, a significant figure in Uganda's military history, at State House in Entebbe. And the family was led by Right Honorable Dan Chidega, the former Speaker of the African Legislative Assembly. Take a look.
Basilio Olara Okello, born in 1929 and died on 9th January 1990, was a Ugandan military officer and one of the commanders of the Uganda National Liberation Army that together with the Tanzanian army withdrew Idi Amin in 1979. During the meeting, President Museveni re-echoed his counterparts with Olara Okello and other prominent figures from that era, including Tito Okello, as he reflected on his experiences in Tanzania in 1972 and the military operations that shaped Uganda's destiny. The president also expressed his commitment to supporting Olara Okello's family. Florence Opoko Olala, Okello's daughter, thanked the government and the Uganda People's Defense Forces for their support during her father's burial. She acknowledged the honor and assistance provided by the UPDF, which helped to cover significant costs and ensure a dignified farewell. Beatrice Olala Otalo, the widow of the late Olala, also expressed her gratitude for President Museveni's continued support. She said that the president's support reflects his dedication to honoring the country's history and those who have contributed to its freedom. Museveni promised further assistance to Olala Okello's family, ensuring their well-being and honoring the legacy of a man who played a pivotal role in Uganda's liberation struggle. The other family members in attendance were Ochen Olala, Mungu Olala, and Beatrice Aoni. BTM News Today.
Thank you for watching BTM News Today. Now it's time to dive into our BTM Health segment. Hair, or have you contemplated bleaching it? It's what we're looking at today in BTM Health. Take a look.
These are the 5 side effects of bleaching hair. How bad is it to bleach your hair? Bleaching your hair takes no more than a couple of hours, but depending on the pain tolerance and your skin, it could hurt your scalp. Bleach is a really strong chemical, so it's not uncommon for it to give burning or tingling sensations. If you make contact with it, or if it gets painful or itchy though, remove the bleach immediately. You may be having an allergic reaction or chemical burn, either of which are good. It is dangerous to bleach your hair. Most people think so. The biggest concern for them is bleached hair tends to get dry. This is due to the process of oxidation. If you're planning to get your hair bleached, make sure it is done after an extra long period of rest. Another side effect of bleaching hair is discolored hair, which is very common. Discolored hair can look quite ugly, and it may give the impression that you don't care about your hair or your appearance. If you did it at home and were not able to apply the agents evenly, you could end up with this problem. Also, we all hate frizzy hair, but there is a strong contender to all the hate: split end riddled hair. Sadly, bleaching can make things so much worse. Bleached hair can be really brittle and prone to damage if done poorly, and we promise you it takes very little to completely ruin badly damaged bleached hair. Bleached hair is a high maintenance. Since bleached hair is so weak and prone to damage, a lot of times it also requires a lot of aftercare. This means that maintaining a regular hair care routine, using protective hair products every day, and remembering not to be rough with it. Plus, imagine having to touch up your very obvious roots every week. This could be more high maintenance than that. BTM Health for BTM News Today.
With those effects of bleaching hair, I would rather have my hair this way. Let's take a look at the news bites.
What I want to request Mr. Speaker, sir, is that this Parliament assert itself and say, what did we pass in this House, Mr. Speaker? We go back to what we passed here and we seek for its implementation. We cannot allow these people to risk the whole country and leave these people to go out with guns without pay. This used to happen during Obote's time, that a person would be given a gun and then told to go and look for his salary.
Very perturbing that people try to blame everything, pick all sorts of ideas and claims and attribute it to you. There has never been a point where a caring government has told people to take their guns and look for their salary. Withdraw, because it is clearly completely out of order to make such an allegation on this floor of Parliament.
the President of UPC, Mr. Akena, Honorable Akena. I do regret the pain my statement has caused him, especially when I was mentioning the times when he used to be a first son and most probably young.
BTM News today takes a break, but don't go out because still have a lot coming your way, including this. Still to come, Uganda is set to host Season 2 of the Africa Monologue Challenge with over 10 participants from different African countries.
Uganda, it is an opportunity to showcase Uganda. It's also an opportunity to tell the African story ourselves. You know that most of our stories that are told, if they are not negative, they are destructive.
President William Ruto has witnessed swearing in of new cabinet secretaries in a function held in State House in Nairobi.
Uliyunga wikakasa ddoboozi lyo weetaaga okutumbula ekitundu eky'omukuyimba kano kekasiireko BTM TV akuleetedde Raise Your Mic yimba ate ensonga za kuyimbira ku live band ngate abawanguzi bakwewangulya ebirabo eby'enjawulo okuli obukadde bw'ensimbi 5 pikipiki kapyata okulikodinga nnyimba mu audio ne vidiyo n'ebirabo ebirala bingi okwetaba mu Raise Your Mic genda ku simu yo nyiga *2M7 *407# olondeko option ya Raise Your Mic olondeko option ya Participate osindike message butereevu ojja kuba weetabe mu auditions wano ku BTM TV abaana babayiseemu ku mutendera oguddako bakulondebwa abalabi baffe aba BTM era beewangulira ebirabo biwugiddwa Simba Automotives ne bikutuusibwako BTM TV.
Discover delicacy at Cafe 2, your all-in-one destination. Whether it's the perfect cup of coffee or a satisfying meal, we got you covered. Indulge your cravings with our mouth-watering pilau, savoury katogo, crispy chips, and tender chicken. Explore our world of cocktails and fresh juices for a truly special treat. Planning an event? Choose Cafe 2 for top-notch outside catering services. Benefit from ample parking. Stay connected with Wi-Fi and catch your favorite matches on DSTV. Cafe 2 offers food deliveries in and around Kampala. Hosting a conference, our center accommodates up to 1,000 people. Need a boardroom for a party or corporate meeting? We've got just the spot for you. We offer a free venue for birthdays and baby showers, providing complimentary photography. For those aspiring to become professional baristas, our barista school awaits you. Visit us at Albany Center, Level 2 on Ginger Road. Cafe 2, where every occasion becomes a memorable experience.
Thank you for keeping it BTM TV. You're still watching BTM News today with me, Idrissa Muwonge. We come live to you from Kampala Road here on Toban Center, where we are based. Now moving on, Uganda is set to host Season 2 of the Africa Monologue Challenge with over 10 participants from different African countries developing monologues on different themes such as culture, unity and identity. Now, Grace Kabayo, Secretary General of the Pan-African Women's Organization and Presidential Advisor on Gender Duties, contends that such events provide opportunities to showcase the vast endowment in Uganda, thus boosting tourism. Take a look.
The Africa Monologue Challenge competition involved participants from various African countries delivering monologues on different themes such as culture, unity, and identity. After over 500 entries, 50 finalists were shortlisted, and after 10 months of a keenly contested competition, 10 finalists were selected to compete in the final event. Speaking during the launch of the event, Grace Kabayo, Secretary General of the Pan-African Women's Organization and Presidential Advisor on Gender Duties, contends that such events provide opportunities to show the vast endowment in Uganda.
Uganda, it is an opportunity to showcase Uganda. It's also an opportunity to tell the African story ourselves. You know that most of our stories that are told, if they are not negative, they are destructive. But we are not going to be shy about the challenges we have. At the same time, we're going to really highlight our successes. Uganda is blessed. It was not called the Pearl of Africa for nothing. We hope that through the monologue, we are going to be able to showcase all the best places of Uganda, the cultures, the foods, the music, dance, drama, and our border borders positively.
Kabayo notes that Uganda's thriving agriculture sector sets a shining example for visiting countries to follow, presenting a valuable opportunity for them to adopt and learn from Uganda's innovative and effective farming practices.
Agriculture is key in Uganda. We are blessed by good soils, freshwater lakes, so we are encouraging other African countries to learn and benefit from our agricultural benefits.
Ruth Chibuka, manager of content generation at the Uganda Communications Commission, said the challenge opens doors for Ugandan creatives to tap into opportunities beyond borders and showcase their unique talents.
Because it is a vital sector that is going to create employment, it is going to create and change the narrative for our countries. And that is why we embraced the Africa Monologue Challenge. Because one of the key things is that people take more information through visual and videos. So we believe that the Monologue Challenge, and especially being multinational, having so many countries on board, is going to create an impact.
Benjamin Duomodoyen, a Ghanaian content producer, says the African Monologue Challenge is aimed at promoting and celebrating African storytelling and acting, further providing opportunities and exposure for the participants.
The question will be, what are monologues? Because we came to Uganda and we realized that there's a negative connotation to the word monologue. Monologue is just a performance by one actress or an actor, an individual performance, be it a play, a film, or a performance that is by an individual. So if we give it a negative connotation, that means we are being told not to tell our stories. We are being told not to stand out for the positives of the continent. And the Africa Monologue Challenge came about to be the voice, to put creatives of Africans together, to be the voice of the African story that we want to tell.
At the grand finale, participants from countries Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, Zambia, Ghana, South Africa, Cameroon, and Ivory Coast will be subjected to public voting, which will constitute a percentage of the contestants' total score for the challenge. John William Ogenda, Freddie Chris Chisawo for BTM News Today.
Outside Uganda.